Last time you were here, we spoke about your song "My Father's Voice," and in the liner notes of this album, you credit him with inspiring the quote "best song on the album" unquote. Can I presume we're talking about "No More Goodbyes"?
Yes, I think it's for me it's the best song. When I say the best, it's hard to say. That's like saying which are your favorite children. It's the best for me because it's the most authentic. I use that word a lot, but I really mean it. I mean it in terms of it reaches. It's one of those songs I'm always most proud of doing. It's it's the song that is full of melody and beauty, and is about something very very hard and something that all of us experience, and that is saying goodbye to someone for the last time. And many listeners might not have had this experience, but I'm sure all of us at some point in our lives will. And I wrote it about my father when he was dying, and it was a profound thing to have that. I suppose, it's that thing where the clearest and the most real things come through in these times. And what it's about is, well, firstly, how no one ever talks about this experience. Nobody ever says how it is to let someone go and give them permission to leave, because, people stay for you, even at the end when people are dying. They'll stay for you. And often you have to tell them it's okay to go. And the thing that, I always say both things are true in life about almost everything that there is in this world. It's so beautiful and so awful at the same time. But in this particular situation, it's the last thing that you want to do. You don't want this person to go. You don't want them to die. And it breaks your heart. And at the same time, there is a certain relief and release and peace when that person is out of pain and torment, and you're out of pain and torment watching them. And it is excruciating, and also fills you with shock and surprise and guilt, and that you could feel that you could feel those feelings of relief and release, and have your heart broken. But that really is the experience. And I try to sum that up in this song, and I feel like I did it, and it hits the mark, because after I do any of these shows and on tour with Brian and everything, there are always people that come back to buy CDs and sign, and there's always a handful of people who are have been crying or are crying and want to talk about this. They want to talk about the fact that they know exactly what I'm talking about. They have had that experience. They'll always say, I just lost my husband, brother, father, whatever it might be, but they know what I'm talking about. And it means a lot to them, because it's that shared experience. I'm always talking about this shared experience, I know, but it's a lonely life. It's a life where many of us feel isolated. Even if we're surrounded by people, you can be very lonely, in so much as you feel like you're the only one maybe that's experiencing things, or we don't talk as much as we should. No one shares things. We don't have communities anymore. We don't live in a village. We don't share. So we don't know, but this is the shared experience. Mm. And it feels good to know that you're not alone, and that there's nothing wrong, and it's not a bad thing that you've been through, and that it's not bad to feel these feelings, because there is, at the end of suffering, there is always relief. There is always relief, even if it breaks your heart. So that song is, I think it's the most powerful song on the record. And like I said, it's my belief in being an artist, and I think my job as an artist, as a writer, is to give the listener permission to feel. I think I said that before, earlier on in our interview, but it's what music's always done for me. It's always a thing that That's why it's a soundtrack to our lives, and it's always the thing that's kept me happy, or that's kept my head above water. If I want to cry, if I want to feel sad, if I want to be put in touch with my emotions, I'll listen to classical music or music that just reaches in and gives me permission to feel and lets me cry. And if I want to be saved from my own sadness and my own darkness, as I did when I was a kid, and listened constantly to Aretha Franklin and Stevie Wonder, that you use it for that, to keep your head above water and to keep you okay. It's the reason I will play and sing and perform for my whole life. And if I don't do it enough, which I often don't because I like to have breaks from it, because I need to write and I don't want to hit saturation point. But when I don't do it enough, I can tell. Mm-hmm. I can tell, because I can tell by my mood. I know when I'm not connecting and I'm not getting to the piano and I'm not doing enough music, because it has always been a life preserver to me. It is something that is not, just a thing you want to do. It is a necessity in your life, and as much for people who don't do it, but who are listening at the other end. That music is so important.
It nourishes your soul. It's like nourishment for the soul.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't eat food for a couple weeks, you're going to notice the difference because you're going to be dang hungry. If you don't play or listen to music for a couple weeks, at least for people like you and I and most of the listeners, you will notice, because you do feel a release. We're going to hear that song as our closer today, but I thought after that, we'd also play the only track on the album that features someone other than Lee as the bass player. And somehow I suspect that under the circumstances, Lee was not that reluctant to relinquish his position, to this sub, because, the subject of the song is the bass player.
Yes, it is. It's about my husband, Harry Shearer, who's just magnificent, what can I say, political satirist, writer, actor, comedian, musician. He's just an incredible guy, and a real Renaissance man. And I wrote it for him, and therefore it was right. He's the first person that ever plays on my music. I mean, I write a song and I'll shout his name, and he'll come over to the bass and double bass and play with me. And that's how it's always been. He's always the first person that plays, so that I can get that sound and that feel about what I'm doing. So yeah, he's always in that, which is amazingly lucky for me and for both of us, that we have this incredible shared experience. And actually, I'm somebody that, as I said, I'm a musician who needs to laugh a lot, and he's a comedian who needs to play music and hear music a lot. So the two of us have that thing in common, where it's like music and laughter. That's everything for us. And so I wrote this because, again, going along with the theme of the album, about actually not taking for granted everything around you, but seeing what's important in life. Not missing the big stuff. It did occur to me that for years and years and years, I had been bemoaning the fact that he doesn't believe in things, made up holidays like Valentine's Day, which is basically what he considers a hallmark, holiday. And his attitude is, well, rather than being nice on one day of the year, how about actually surprising the person you love throughout the year, or just, being romantic regularly as opposed to one day you're told to. Mm-hmm. So, and of course I would just burst into tears and cry because, it's yet another Valentine's where I hadn't got any roses or something, So I was missing the point he was making completely, because I wasn't getting anything on that day when everybody else was. So it took me about, I would say, easily 12 years of just bursting into tears every single Valentine's Day and acting like an idiot before I realized that actually he was right. And that was hard when you, as you can imagine, so it's hard to admit when your partner is right. And it kind of made me laugh, of course. I put him through such hell all these years, and it kind of befitted my sense of humor. But it's very much about that thing where you meet someone, you know who they are, they tell you who they are, you choose them, and it's that you're perfect now change.
Yeah.
situation where you see somebody's potential, and women are very, very good at this in particular. You see someone's potential, and then you think, oh yeah, I can see how I can improve that. But this is who I chose. This is who I chose, and he's outspokenly right from the start doesn't believe in this kind of stuff, and yet here I was going through this hell every single year. So it kind of made me chuckle when I came to my senses all these years later, after all these fights, and realized that he was absolutely right. So I wrote this song as a kind of apology, I think, for the years of hell that I put him through. And thank God he has such a good sense of humor that he found it funny too, which is about the fact, the song is all about you're with someone who does things their own way, who does stuff not according to how someone tells them they should, or how what something says in a calendar. This is somebody who is not ever going to change, but you chose them and you love them for that. I mean, that's the point of the song. It's like, it isn't about choosing somebody and then wanting them to be an absolutely different person. It's about accepting who they are, which is the hardest thing in any relationship, as we know. Sharing space and accepting utterly the person you're with. It's the hardest bloody thing. So this is my apology to him, and it seemed absolutely perfect and right that he would play on it and play on it. He does brilliantly.
Yes.
So there's a little added bonus to this song, I think, that it is Harry on bass.
And as a bonus on top of the bonus, Tom Scott plays on it. But interestingly, he's not playing the saxophone, which he's so well known for. He's playing the flute.
Yes, he is. It's not just Will Ferrell in Anchorman that finds jazz flute hysterical. I do too. I think it's absolutely beyond ridiculous and wrong. It's wrong on every level. But this is right. Tom Scott managed to make this right. But the whole song is very tongue-in-cheek. The whole song is meant to make you smile.
Yes.
And feel that kind of it's my humor coming through. It's just but to the fact that it's like I love this person for everything they do that I don't want them to do or don't like them doing. That's why I love the person. That's exactly who they are. So it kind of makes sense that he was doing the crazy jazz flute on top of that. Yeah.
Well, this is one reason I'm such a big fan of what you do. Sometimes with someone who I know, I like their album so much that I'm a little worried about the next one. I go, oh no, I might not like it as much. And in your case, because of your own internal standards, I know that lyrically, musically, and in terms of the support, it's always going to be good. So in your case, I'm never worried about it. And I know it's going to be light and dark. And as I mentioned earlier, the arranging where you're going to mix it up. And I'm a fan, Judith. What can I say? I'm a fan.
I love that you're a fan, Dan. I love that. I only wish that I was coming somewhere close that you could see the show, but maybe Olivia can come and see one of the ones around LA. And thank you for saying that. My standards are high, but I can assure you that it will be something a little different, but something of equal beauty, and hopefully will affect you and all the listeners as much as this one. I'm happy to say, so grateful for this, but I'm happy to say that the way this has affected people has been amazing, just amazing.
Honestly, I think it's all about the yam. I think that was it.
It's all about the yammy. It's all about the yam, Dan. Thank you so much. It's been a joy, really. I've loved talking with you.
And me as well. And while we're waiting for the next one to come out, we have plenty here to occupy us. So I want to remind everybody again about judithowen.net. It's a great resource, particularly for tour information. But, there are videos and interviews and photos and other things. So head over there and take a look.
And I do encourage your listeners to also come find me on Twitter. Find me, Judith Owen, and on Facebook too, because I it's a good way of getting to see photos directly from the road, periscoping, Facebook Live, all those things. I would you can actually see these shows and sections of these shows live in both those. Mm-hmm. So definitely jump on and friend and follow me, please.
I also want to be sure to thank Steve Lee and Pam Halstead for their assistance coordinating this interview. And extra special thanks to Gabriella Swallow for sending in some custom content. And of course, since we're doing thank yous, I mean, I just want to mention that in terms of Lee, I mean, his playing on this album in particular, some of the best stuff I've ever heard him do. I mean, the bass playing is just amazing. There are spots where he's almost like soloing on some of the tracks.
That's right. And I think what's amazing, I think, about him playing on my music is that he plays like a virtuoso. I mean, a lot of the time, with Toto, with Phil, he's astounding. He's moving around constantly playing, but he's being the roots player. Whereas with me, I'm really playing the root because I'm always playing the bass part on the piano already. So Lee dances around me in this incredible duet like a virtuoso. I mean, it's really astounding. And he really has this. It's an exquisite dance that we do, which is one of my favorite shows that I do with Lee and I, is a duet, because it's just profound seeing what he does. So when people see this, you hear it on the album, obviously, but when people come to the show, it's an amazing opportunity to see him do what he does best, and it's really an amazing thing. And he is the most virtuosic bass player I've ever come across. His melodies are profound, and the way that he moves, the agility that he has, but the tastefulness, the melodies that he comes up with are really, really, really beyond beautiful. So yeah, these records are really, I'm happy to say, they really, the last two, Ebb and Flow and this one, they really do show him off in the way that he should be. I mean, he's a musical treasure as far as I'm concerned.
Couldn't agree more. And now, as promised, here are two more great tracks from Somebody's Child, No More Goodbyes, and That's Why I Love My Baby. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
We walked this road together through good and troubled times. I held your hand when you were down. For a lifetime you held mine. I did not see this coming. Well, I guess you never do. I have no regrets, my friend. I've just one thing to say to you. Long may you walk in fields of green, and may the angels guard your side. Thank you for love, thank you for life, thank you for everything. Sadness and yet no more regrets, no more goodbyes. Thank you for love, thank you for life, thank you for everything. Sadness and yet no more regrets, no more goodbye. Sadness and yet no more regrets. regret, no more goodbye. No more goodbye. My man, he don't show it on the outside. My man likes to keep it on the inside. I know, don't go for all those lengthy phone calls, but when he's here, don't you know he says it all? And that's why I love my baby. Yeah, that's why I love my baby. That's why I love my baby. And I do. I do. My man, he don't buy me cards and flowers, no diamonds, none of that Hallmark stuff. Don't go thinking that he's got it easy, 'cause every day, don't you know he aims to please me? And that's why I love my baby. Yeah, that's why I love my baby. And that's why I love my baby. And I do. It's sunshine, sunshine, in rain, he sticks, baby, sticks around. He does it all. My man, he don't show it on the outside. My man likes to keep it on the inside. I know, don't go thinking that he's got no style, 'cause every day, don't you know, he makes me smile. And that's why I love my baby. Yeah, that's why I love my baby. That's why I love my baby. And I do. And that's why I love my baby. That's why I love my baby. That's why la 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 la. I could feel at the time there was no way of knowing for them. Leaves in the night, who can say where they're blowing? I must free as the wind, hopefully learning why the sea on the tide has no way of turning. But more than this, well, there's nothing more than this. Tell me one thing more than this, more than this. There's nothing. It was fine for a while, there was no way of knowing, like the dreams in the night. Who can say where we're going? But more than this, well, there's nothing more than this. Tell me one thing more than this, more than this. There's nothing. Nothing. There's nothing.